still needs to be done to make this world a better place, but the good news is that a lot can be done, and digital twins play a crucial role when we think about exactly that. And retail is a big thing because waste and the wastefulness there is a big problem.
Digital twins track the entire life cycle of things. When we think about retail, these things are products such as groceries, clothing, toys and so on, but also their packaging and of course the retail stores themselves. They are also digital twins, their shelves, their refrigeration units, their freezers, the shopping carts, and even the workers in the stores and the consumers can have digital twins. And all these twins create continuously evolving knowledge pools, and these in turn bring companies a solid base to continue innovating, which then of course also impacts their financial situation and sustainability.
And digital twins, they fill a knowledge gap, which is the most important starting point to bring on any change. So just by knowing how your products are flowing from once they are shipped to your local store, once they end up with consumers, and whether or not they are being consumed there or just tossed away at a certain time, that enables you to take that knowledge and turn that into actions that help in reducing the amount of waste that we are currently creating. And on top of that, also consumers, they get a lot of more knowledge about where the products are coming from. Have they been produced in a sustainable and ethical way? And what are the exact ingredients? So there's a lot from the knowledge perspective that digitalization can bring closer to us, not only to the retail owners, to the retail store owners, to the food manufacturers, but also to the consumers. And I just leave it with that because the knowledge is the key. And once you have it, there's a whole lot that can be done and improved. And yes, if you're wondering, there can be digital twins for apples and bananas even.
Sustainability in agriculture is really important. How can you reach this best? Naturally, via digitalization.
When you look at a farm as a digital twin, you suddenly have new means of producing more efficiently and wisely, because you now know everything. You know what status the soil is in, you know what environmental conditions play a role in crop performance, you know about cattle well-being, you know how your harvesting machines operate in the most efficient ways. And you can compare the profitability of same-size farms in the same region and spotlight what works best and copy it over.
You can save water, energy and time, and you can ensure that your produce is of very good quality. This saves resources for the planet and also for yourself.
BaseN is the synonym for planetary sustainability. BaseN has created the digital twins for large construction companies for creating the zero energy houses, monitoring them, controlling them, and providing the data, information and knowledge to all the stakeholders who are in the need of understanding how the smart home, how the smart building, and how the smart city is operating. Key behind the driver is to collect sufficient information, which can be data from the solar panels, heating system, ventilation, tenant behavior on the building, moving in, moving out, pendling to the work, creating the whole community to provide an understanding of the demographic group which is living on the smart city. Vast amount of data with BaseN Digital Twin, picking up the essential information and giving that as the knowledge for the decision makers, for the house owners, facility management companies, and any stakeholders who are in the need of the information.
How about taking your business to a next level with digitalization?
Do you know what digital twins are? And what are they especially in your industry, and how would you benefit from those?
Have you thought about collecting data, all the knowledge about your products, your services, your facilities, your personnel, anything what you can measure, and start to improve and start to produce even better, more efficient, both economically and also ecologically? Think about if you knew everything about your product right from the beginning. What if you knew where the product was born, where it was manufactured, who put it together, and how ecologically sustainable your product is? What kind of life cycle it has, what kind of users it has. How about if you could get all the possible data on your products, your vehicles, your equipment, your machinery, and create a whole scenery of that through situational awareness on BaseN?
I think digitalization is an enabler or a potential tool to help us achieve sustainable goals. For example, our BaseN platform is the base hosting North Power rotor cells. I have learned that the rotor cells were invented 100 years ago, but only until now with suitable technology that it became viable in practices. North Power mission is to bring these rotor cells to ships to reduce emissions and contribute to decarbonization in maritime industry. Ensuring these rotor cells operation is mission critical for them, and they rely on BaseN platform for that mission critical applications. For Internet of Things, IoT and Digital Twin BaseN platform is one of the technology enablers for them to boost sustainability goals in the maritime industry.
So you have heard a few bits about digital twins and some bits and pieces of our business. So I will talk a little bit about sustainability, what comes to commercial and planetary sustainability. And I will share my screen with you. There we go. We say that the future is set with digital twins. And what does that mean? Because many people mean different things with digital twins. For some people, they are just drawings or digital drawings in a computer-aided design program. And for some people, they are smart algorithms that are controlling physical things. But first, if I ask from all kinds of businesses right now that what's on your mind? There are a lot of global crises going on right now. First, we had the global warming for decades, kind of threatening our normal capitalist business models because the environment is changing. And recently we have geopolitical problems to get access to raw materials. We have supply chain problems of all kinds. We have downtimes in production. There are outages, there are natural disasters, workforce shortages, and all kinds of losses in industries. And of course, like in BaseN and every other business, the most important thing is sales and staying ahead of competition. So this is kind of the financial sustainability side, and all companies are battling with these challenges, and they have been solving them in different ways. And the globalization has also backfired in some cases where some countries have gathered the raw materials that are required by other countries, and there are risks for all kinds of trade wars right now. Then when we go to the planetary sustainability side. So there is a scarcity of resources. So we are looking into the diminished returns in mining and then in many different ingredients that are required, especially for high-tech industries like mobile phones and tablets and computer chips. And also there are problems in end-of-life material handling, waste management, recycling, and the regulations are tightening continuously on these so that the environment stays clean. And also we have seen a lot of newly discovered toxic materials in materials. And of course, this all boils down to the full carbon footprint. And this is fairly generic what comes to the situational awareness of companies, businesses right now. And are digital twins then the answer? And BaseN has always been about situational awareness, primarily about large networks, telecom operators, large retail chains, kind of tracking all kinds of devices and network components and managing those effectively by providing a faithful representation of any environment that the customer has, and then adding all kinds of actions, starting from alarms and automatic inputs and outputs, and actions that are automatically redeeming situations when something is about to go wrong in a network or in an environment. So my question is that, do you have situational awareness of your customer base right now? If we think a telecom operator or a cloud provider, say Verizon or Amazon or Microsoft, they have actually painstakingly created platforms to manage the customer information. So they sometimes even almost unethically collect a lot of information about customers in order to recommend new services to them, and they have a very clear digital twin of each customer. But we have a bunch of, or let's say the majority of businesses globally are still in the old fire and forget mode. So if we produce a bottle of refreshment, like in the picture here, most likely when it's produced, no one actually wants to hear about it anymore. So it is just pushed to the customer as soon as possible, and then customer does whatever it does with it, and then the process is forgotten, and then it's just a new product is created. But we see that the digital twin should be so simple and easy to create that everything has a digital twin, and all materials, all products that are created from materials would have a twin that ensures that there is recycling happening, and that the product is continuously evolving based on the customer needs. And ultimately, this is about having a continuous remote connection to each and every customer, and this is something that most companies who have been created after the Industrial Revolution of the 1900s or 1800s, they are not used to. So people are so used to the method that, you know, that I'll sell a car and then I have this painful warranty on it, and then I'll just sell a new car. But looking at the resource efficiency and sustainable business model, it would be much better to actually tailor the car to the consumer, so that when the time comes to upgrade the car, the manufacturer would know as much as possible from the consumer in order to serve better and more sustainably the customer, and also take into account all the regulations and the current business climate. And why does it concern all of us? As my kind of DNA is in situational awareness, understanding on how things really are, and then it's our planet and our future. So we think that nothing should be created without a digital twin and without kind of a digital track, because for the first time we have the global networks, we have the infrastructure, we have the sustainable storage methods, we have the platforms for actually creating more sustainable digital things than what the physical things ever were. And this is something that most people don't grasp as in the first phase, because we are so ingrained in thinking that, you know, that the physical object is the key thing, because it can be used and it can be sometimes eaten or utilized and then just thrown away. But the total situational awareness with our kind of platforms, that's something that is needed. And as said, the telecom companies have been utilizing that for bit more than 100 years right now, and it's not surprising that they know most about their customers. So our telecom customers, they have digital twins for each and every customer, and for the combination of those customers, which forms, for instance, a 5G network. And that is something that the model is quite readily applicable to all kinds of heavy industries that we are just used to see as basic manufacturing companies and so on. And as Sonia was mentioning, one of our customers, North Power, who has created rotor sails based on the Magnus effect, that is really a 100-year-old innovation, but it only became possible to create or implement because of sufficient data gathering, analysis, and real-time control that was enabled by BaseN on those ocean-going ships with satellite connections to them. And now we are looking at up to 10% fuel reduction with these ships, and this can be huge impacts when the rotor sail is not viewed only as a physical object on the ship, but as a system that has a vast virtual part. And we see, as I said several times, that virtually nothing should be made without a digital twin. So we can easily expand this to many industries, and we just need the guts from the traditional industries to jump into the same methodology that the telecom and cloud providers are already doing. It should not be only their prerogative to manage customer data and customer digital twins. And as said, we have implemented these twins for networks, construction sites, and countless other things for more than 20 years. And we have always been able to scale to billions of objects, as we have been proven by our telecom customers, who are expanding their networks, sometimes adding double the capacity every year, and putting more and more complex systems on top of the sea cables, and creating new types of services to customers all the time. With that, I welcome you to follow all the other very interesting presentations we will have today. Well, thank you very much, and back to you, Sonia.
Thank you very much for your speech, Pasi. And now it's time for the Q&A section. So I have a couple of questions for you. I just spotted an article headline that said something about digital triplets instead of just digital twins. Have you heard of digital triplets?
I have heard these digital twin unions that are collections of digital twins, which are kind of going back and forth, depending on the situations. But the word digital triplet is that is not that much known to me.
All right. Thank you for the answer. And now I have one more question. Can you give a practical example how digital twins can help forming a secure supply chain?
So with a digital twin, if you have let's say a construction site where you supply a lot of materials, if we have digital twins for all the components that are delivered in, the ability to scan those with mobile phones or some simple devices, that is very affordable to do right now, and that allows us to secure the authenticity of all these deliveries and their timing, and then if there are some quality problems, it is fairly simple to go back and see that how did the process actually go. And then there are also, although BaseN has never been that much about blockchain technologies, but there are slots where blockchain can be used in order to verify the authenticity of products which have digital twins. So the digital twin is actually the good repository for the digital data.
All right, thank you. And I have more questions. So another attendee is asking, how are digital twins created of small items like a package of razor blades? How do you make them connect to the digital world?
It's interesting because we actually have this kind of digital twin in BaseN. We have created digital twins for razor blades, and they, in that solution, the razor blade pack actually had a small RFID tag, and then the peg where it was hanging in the store was reading the tag, and whenever it was kind of taken out from the peg and then delivered to the cashier, that information was then fed back to the razor blade manufacturer. And as a side product, this also created an alarm system for theft, because very quickly it was discovered that no one really buys kind of 10 packs of razor blades. And so if 10 packs suddenly moved from the peg towards the door of the store, that was a potential theft, and then the guard was already waiting outside. So this also proved that with digital twin thinking, in this case, you can easily innovate new products without kind of starting even new product innovation cycles.
That was quite insightful. And there are more questions, so I would like to straight away continue. What is the most impactful digital twin that you have seen so far produced?
Well, I have to say it is the visualization and managing a network with more than 1 million targets within. So whenever I look at our telecom customers and their how they visualize the sub-networks and then the complete network in their network operating centers, for me, that kind of proves that we are worth that trust that they are putting on us, and showing how things actually work. And no matter how the network scales, we are still real time within seconds whenever the network has condition changes, or if there is an earthquake or a snowstorm, so we can see by second on how the network is impacted, and predict capacity the changes, so that whenever there is let's say a football match or a hockey match or something like that, and there is a lot of capacity, I can see that the operator can predict that and manage so that customers see no degradation in their services. So our customers who have been using BaseN platform for tens of years, that the quality of the network is always at the top when evaluated by the local regulators. So we are actually making a big difference to the service quality to the customers.
Thank you, Pasi. And the next question is, Pasi, how is BaseN supporting the customer when taking on the journey to digital twins?
Well, of course, we don't have too much consulting power, but we will help the customer with a service design project in the beginning to kind of find out that if there is a low-hanging fruit on creating a digital twin for the existing product, because we have done it a few times, so it's quite easy to kind of within a couple of weeks to kind of find out that how would the new product plus service look like for the customer.
Thank you. I hope that answered the question. And now I go on to the next. Fraudulent or fake products, counterfeits, are causing a lot of damage and even sometimes risks. Do you have any example of how digital twins can help there?
So the simplest way is to label all the products with a unique ID that can be checked with, for instance, a mobile phone against the digital twin repository of the manufacturer. And then we have seen this already in a very kind of a small things like tuna cans. So if you look at John West tuna cans right now, you can actually verify the origin.
Oh, that's
code.
excellent.
There is a QR code in the can, and there are several methods for this. And we see that the more a business actually moves towards valuing the digital twin more than the physical side, counterfeiting becomes more and more difficult in this sense.
Indeed, that was very interesting to know. And then we have another question. Where do you see the biggest change in digitalization or digital twins during these 20 years?
Well, it is the democratization. So we see more and more people who didn't before were not even touched by, let's say, IT technologies. We see that kind of surprising groups of people suddenly start utilizing a lot of advanced technologies. If we look at the kind of a fitness, things like Aura and things like that. So we are now in a stage that there are a lot of even incompatible platforms, and we predicted like 10 years ago that the smart homes would be kind of commonplace today. And yes, they are quite commonplace, but there are kind of 10 different standards, and they are difficult to, unless you are a hobbyist, it is very difficult to combine all of those. But at the same time, we have a lot of people using these fitness rings and bands, which was not predicted the same way. And all these require very reliable platforms behind, because we are also talking about the sensitive data of people.
Absolutely agree with you there. And then let's move to the next question. We are going a bit low on time, but what's the main reason why you would say that someone should implement digital twins with BaseN over doing it with other players?
So we are aiming towards mission critical type of customers. So whenever data privacy and the 24/7 operation is critical for the customer, then we are the ideal choice. Digital twins can be implemented with many other platforms, but many of them are designed more to kind of a bit more entertainment type of environments, where it doesn't matter if you have an outage for a couple of days. But because we have started from mission critical networks and close to kind of military type of technologies, so we are best when the system has to work, even when 50% of it is destroyed.
Indeed, that was a perfect answer. And Pasi, thank you for answering all of the questions.